I'm always going on about how we can use the fretboard to visualize theory, but we can also use it to visualize what we're hearing. And today we're going to take a little bit of theory and apply it to the fretboard while learning to recognize it by ear. We'll start with the fundamentals, and then by the end I want to show you a fun and pretty easy method to both memorize the note locations on the fretboard and develop your hearing at the same time. And obviously there are loads of apps, methods, and courses out there. I just want to share some really effective practices that have helped me and my students, and we do them using our guitars. This first one is usually how I start to kind of assess where people are at with their ears, and then it makes a good remedial exercise if you need it. But it is sort of a prerequisite to everything else, and luckily most people will find it quite easy. But if you are one of the people who struggle with this first step, first of all, you're not alone, and I'll have a little extra advice for you. All we're gonna do is play random notes on the guitar and then match them with our voice. And to start, try to stick to the notes in the comfortable range of your voice. If you're like a pro singer, then it would be really nice if you can just sort of nail the pitches. But if you're an inexperienced singer, I think it's fine to kind of fish around a bit to find the notes if you need to. A slightly more advanced version would be to play random notes all over the whole range of the guitar, but then try to find them in your comfortable octave. Now, it is nice to have a partner or especially a coach for this because they can tell you when you're right or wrong. But if you're by yourself and you'd still like some external feedback on what you're doing, you could try using a guitar tuner app as long as it has a chromatic tuner function. And so you can kind of see your voice going into one note's neighborhood, and then it goes up and eventually it flips over to the next note. Chances are you have an app like that already, but some of you might want to try something more like this. I'm not sponsored or anything, but this is a little free version app for iOS. And if anyone knows an app like this for the other platforms, maybe shout it out in the comments. And then if we do our exercise, we can play the note on guitar and we can see it on the app. And then we try to match it with our voice and check the result. I think this is one of the most fundamental ear training skills to learn. In a way, it seems like we're just gonna sing perfect fifths, and I think people can sometimes miss the real point of this. But what we wanna do is be able to take any note and make ourselves hear it as a tonic. And the way that we can do that is to also find the dominant. The tonic is like this note, and the dominant is this one. The tonic sounds more stable, or like you could satisfyingly end on it. The dominant is the fifth note of a major or minor scale, and we'll talk about how to find it a little more in a moment. But first, I'll quickly demonstrate the exercise for you. I play a random note, and then first we just want to match it. Then I'll find the dominant note. And then we can use this perfect fifth shape, basically like a power chord, to check our answer. And then it's true that the dominant is a perfect fifth above the root, but we should also practice finding the one a perfect fourth below, which on guitar is this shape. And so here's a little chart of the various shapes that we can use on the fretboard. The tonic, or the note we first play, is T, and the notes we want to guess and check are the Ds for dominant. Here's a fun little idea that you can try with almost no extra work. In a way, it seems like it's directed towards developing perfect pitch, but I think it does work to sort of solidify and stabilize your relative pitch. And it's like a little game, so it's a little bit fun anyways. All we do is, when we walk into a room and our guitar is sitting there, before we play any notes or hear anything, just try to sing the pitch of one of the strings first, and then check. But I like to do the A string just because it feels like it's in my range. It takes 2 seconds, and every time you walk by your guitar, you can give it a try. And then I think we should also learn the sound of the open strings like this. This exercise is all about one string at a time, and we're going to use the open string as a sort of droning tonic, and we'll relate the sound of the notes on the other frets 1 through 12 back to the open. So we play open and then match it, but the idea is to guess and sing the note of the first fret and then check it. Then we go to the second fret and we repeat the process. And at first we can work our way up and down the neck. I think this last one is really fun, and it's great for developing your ears, but it will also help you to understand music theory and the fretboard better as well. Now, it does involve doing some improvising. We can use any of the strings, and we start by finding all of the natural notes along the string. We usually think of these notes as being from C major, and we'll start by finding a C major, or even better, a C major chord backing track on YouTube. And we want to especially know where the note C is on each string. Then we want to get the sound of the arpeggio of the chord. And then you can improvise with all of the notes. And notice how the arpeggio notes sound and fit, and how the other notes are sort of beside them. And also sing along with your improv, and try to get to the point where you could sing a little snippet first and then play it. Now maybe we do C one day, but then the next time we're going to do the same pitch collection of natural notes, but now we'll use it over a D minor chord. And so this time D is the boss note, and we can call the scale Dorian. But the main thing is we find the Ds and then the D minor arpeggio notes, and then improvise using all of the natural notes, trying to really listen and get a feel of each note. And then the next day, or however you decide to do it, you do E Phrygian, which is the name we use when we have the same collection of natural notes, but we're using them over an E minor chord, and E is the boss note. And then it's the same process. We want to find the note E with our voice, and then on the string, and then find the arpeggio notes, and then improvise using the same group of natural notes based around the E. And we call that E Phrygian. any of the notes could be the boss note. And so here's a list of all the notes and all the chords, and the notes of the arpeggio and the name of the mode. If you're interested in chord substitutions, you could watch this next. Or if you want to learn a clever way to know what scale fits over what chords, then this is for you.